Articles from the Hindu, July 6, 2020. Subscribe Education Hub and hit the bell icon for current affairs. 1. China doubles down on claims in eastern Bhutan boundary after Thimphu's démarche. Beijing includes eastern sectors to boundary dispute, days after Bhutan sent China a démarche protesting against Chinese claims to the Saktor Wildlife Sanctuary in eastern Bhutan. Beijing has doubled down, including Bhutan's eastern sectors to the boundary dispute between the two countries for the first time. The boundary between China and Bhutan has never been delimited. There have been disputes over the eastern, central and western sectors for a long time, said the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in a statement to the media in Beijing. The MFA was responding to questions about China's attempt last month to stop funding for the Saktor Sanctuary from the UN Development Programme's Global Environment Facility, GEF, on the grounds that it was disputed territory. According to written records, there has been no mention of eastern Bhutan, or Trashigangdzongkhag, district, where Saktor is based, that borders Arunachal Pradesh, in 24 previous rounds of boundary negotiations held between the two countries, between 1984 and 2016. So far, the talks have been about 3 specific areas, including Jakarlung and Pasamlung in the north, and the Chumbai Valley, where Doklam is situated, in West Bhutan. The negotiations have not been held since the Doklam standoff between Indian and Chinese troops in 2017. In July 2018, Chinese Vice Foreign Minister Kong Xuanyou visited Bhutan and met with the Bhutanese king, prime minister, and other officials, but the 25th round of talks has not yet taken place. Sources said the talks could not be held in 2019 due to scheduling difficulties, and the coronavirus pandemic has delayed them further this year. The Bhutanese government and its embassy in Delhi declined to comment on the issue. Bhutan has always maintained a discreet silence on its boundary negotiations with China, and it does not have any formal diplomatic relations with Beijing. The Ministry of External Affairs too declined to comment. The Hindu has learnt that Bhutan had issued a démarche to the Chinese embassy in New Delhi last month, protesting against the Chinese statement at the Global Environmental Facility meeting that decides on global grants for various projects. The Saktor Sanctuary has in the past, too, received such grants, including in 2018-2019 for a project on preventing soil erosion, without any objection from China. 2.U.P. Criminals aid caught says police gave them info. Agnihotri says his boss got a tip-off over phone about raid. A key aide of Vikas Dubey, the main accused in the killing of 8 policemen in Kanpur last week, said the wanted criminal had received information about the police raid through a phone call from the local police station. Dayashankar Agnihotri was arrested by the police after an alleged encounter in Kalyanpur area of Kanpur early on Sunday, the police said. Agnihotri, who was shot in the leg during the encounter, was among the men who ambushed the police team on the intervening night of June 2 and 3, the police said. A bounty of 1 lakh has been announced for Dubey and 25000 each for the 18 other identified accused persons who are on the run. 2 accused, relatives of Dubey, were killed in an alleged encounter hours after the incident. Talking to media after his arrest, Agnihotri said Dubey had received information about the incoming police team through a call from the local police station. Dubey then made phone calls to his other associates who reached his house with weapons, said Agnihotri. Though he claimed he did not remember how many people attacked the police team, Agnihotri said there were between 25 and 30 men. Agnihotri's claim came a day after the show of showbipper Vinay Tiwari was suspended amid allegations that he played a role in tipping off the assailants. Tiwari was part of the police team that had gone to arrest Dubey. IG Kanpur Mohit Agarwal said every staff member and personnel of the Shobipur police station was under the scanner. 6 illegal country-made pistols, 15 bombs, 25 cartridges, and bomb-making material were recovered from Dubey's house during a search, said the police. Kanpur Rural SP BK Srivastava said as per the cache of ammunition found in his residence, Dubey operated in the mode of a Naxal, and added that he had managed to get several weapon licenses issued in the name of his associates. Mr. Agarwal said Agnihotri was Dubey's right-hand man who had been living with him for the past 25 years. 3. Vaccine trials take 6 to 9 months. Swaminathan. So launching the vaccine for public use before August 15 this year would mean that the Phase 3 trial, which tests the efficacy of the vaccine on a large number of participants and takes the longest time to complete, may have to be skipped or rushed. In the midst of the pandemic and in the absence of any safe and efficacious vaccine, attempts are being made to accelerate vaccine development. On whether vaccine development can be rushed through, bypassing certain critical stages of testing, Dr. Swaminathan said, the pandemic demands unprecedented efforts to develop a vaccine. That is why the WHO and partners launched the ACT Access to COVID-19 Tools Accelerator to accelerate the development, deployment, and delivery of COVID vaccines. While clinical trials need to be performed with scientific rigor and demonstrate efficacy and safety, timelines can be shortened by investing in manufacturing upfront, preparing sites in advance, regulatory harmonization, collaboration between the different government agencies, and anticipating the next steps. Performing trials in areas and among groups with a high risk of infection will also help by accumulating the necessary endpoints in a shorter time. China has recently approved the use of one of its COVID-19 vaccines, which has completed Phase 1 and Phase 2 trials, to be used exclusively by the military for 1 year. The vaccine is not currently being made available for public use. Reiterating the need to conduct a Phase 3 trial before launching the vaccine for public use, Dr. Swaminathan told The Hindu, any vaccine that is going to be used at large scale must demonstrate efficacy and safety. The WHO has offered our support to vaccine developers all over the world to enable that the best science is performed, and to facilitate multi-country clinical trials. The scientific establishment in India has a long history of rising to national challenges and delivering the needed products. Indian manufacturers supply over half of childhood vaccines procured by the UNICEF and the Gavi. I am optimistic that with the capacity available in the public and private sector in India, that one or more successful vaccines will emerge, she said. She also added that the WHO, along with the Gavi and the CEPI, is in dialogue with Secretary, DBT, and FILE Indian vaccine manufacturers to provide any kind of support and facilitate advancing the candidates to trials. Dr. Swaminathan added, it is encouraging to see that at least 7 Indian companies are developing COVID-19 vaccines. All of them must be tested, through the various phases, in collaboration with the DBT and the ICMR, until we see results from these trials, we cannot predict which of them will be successful. Having a regulatory standard and clear criteria for advancing vaccines through the various stages, will be very helpful. The FDA has recently produced such a document, and so has the WHO. At the same time, it is important to start preparing for vaccine delivery and preparing the strategy and policy for deployment among various risk groups. Community engagement and preparedness will be an important component and must be addressed, Dr. Swaminathan said. 4. Morale of armed forces very high. ITBP Chief PM's visit has boosted sentiments of troops at border. The morale of the armed forces is very high, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Ladakh last week and his address to troops have raised the morale of all the forces at the border, Director General, Indo-Tibetan Border Police, ITBP, SS Deswal, said on Sunday. The complete national leadership, political leadership, and the forces and Jawans, they are dedicated to the nation. They are dedicated to border security, and the morale of all forces, be it the Indian Army, Air Force, or ITBP, is very high, Mr. Deswal told press persons on the sidelines of an event to inaugurate a 10,000-bed COVID care center. The facility, which will be operated by the ITBP as the nodal agency, was inaugurated by Delhi Lieutenant Governor Anil Baijal. Mr. Deswal stated that personnel of the armed forces had sacrificed their lives in the line of duty in the past and they were ready to do so in the future as well. The ITBP, which is tasked with guarding the Ladakh along with the Army, has inducted an additional 30 companies, around 3,000 personnel, to augment numbers during the ongoing standoff at several locations in eastern Ladakh. DRDO Hospital. Meanwhile, in the national capital, a 1,000-bed COVID hospital, which includes a 250-bed intensive care unit, ICU, designed and constructed by the Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO, with the Tata Trust, was inaugurated by Defense Minister Rajnath Singh and Home Minister Amit Shah. Visited the 1,000-bed Sardar Patel COVID Hospital, which has 250 ICU beds, along with Rajnath Singh. DRDO built it in record time of 12 days with assistance from Home Ministry, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, MOFA, Armed Forces and Tata Trust. Armed Forces Medical Services, AFMS, team will run it and DRDO will maintain, Mr. Shah said on Twitter later. 530 kilograms of gold seized from consulate cargo in Kerala. Thiruvananthapuram, customs enforcers on Sunday inspected an air cargo consignment addressed to the Consular General of the United Arab Emirates here and found 30 kg of gold concealed in imported plumbing material. Officials valued the contraband at 15 crore. The shipment had arrived at the international airport here 5 days ago. It was kept unopened pending customs clearance at the air cargo complex. The UAE consulate has denied any knowledge of the smuggling operation. 6-5 held in Gutka, Ganja smuggling racket in AP. Vijayawada. The Krishna District Police in Andhra Pradesh seized a haul of Gutka products and about 10 kg of ganja, all worth around 70 lakh, besides confiscating 5 cars and arresting 5 persons in this connection, Superintendent of Police, SP, M. Ravindranath Babu said. On a tip-off, a police team intercepted the cars on Bijayjur Road and seized the Gutka packets of different brands, packed in gunny bags, the SP said at a press conference in Nandigama on Sunday. 7. Covaxin trial to kick off in Belagavi soon. Covaxin, the first possible vaccine against COVID-19, will be tested on a team of around 200 healthy volunteers in and around Belagavi in Karnataka. The clinical trials will be conducted by doctors and staff members of Jeevan Rekar, a multi-speciality hospital here, monitored by the Indian Council of Medical Research, ICMR, and Bharat Biotech International Limited, the private company that has developed the chemical molecule, doctors at the hospital said. Jeevan Rekar is one of the 12 hospitals and health centers in the country chosen by the Union government for clinical trials of the vaccine. 8. Amarnath Yatra to skip traditional route. Pilgrims to take Baltal route, Lieutenant Governor performs puja at the cave. The J&K administration on Sunday performed the rituals to start the annual Amarnath pilgrimage, where only 500 pilgrims will be allowed to trek to the holy shrine from the Baltal area of central Kashmir. Due to the pandemic, the pilgrimage is likely to be held from July 23 to August 3 only from the Baltal track and not the traditional route of Pahalgam in South Kashmir. Only 500 pilgrims will be allowed a day by road from Jammu, an official said. Lieutenant Governor Girish Chandra Murmu, accompanied by officials, on Sunday performed the Pratham Arti at the holy Amarnath cave. It was telecast live by Prasar Bharati. Mr. Murmu is also the chairman of the Sri Amarnath Shrine Board, SASB, the body regulating the pilgrimage. The pilgrimage will be telecast live by Prasar Bharati till the culmination of the Yatra on August 3, an official said. The Amarnath Yatra is the first religious event allowed in J&K since the pandemic broke. However, in the wake of the growing number of COVID-19 cases in J&K, no other religious event will be allowed in the Union Territory, UT. 9 out of 10 Kashmir districts are designated as red zones. Under the Disaster Management Act, the J&K administration has laid down the standard operating procedures, SOPs, for the pilgrims and prescribed RT-PCR test for all the persons traveling to J&K. All entrants into J&K will have to be sampled, tested and quarantined till they are reported to be negative, an official said. 9. Drugs under review after trial results. Drugs remdesivir, hydroxychloroquine, lopinavir/ritonavir and favipiravir, currently being used for COVID-19 patients, have come under the Health Ministry's scanner. Senior officials have confirmed that with both national and international information and trial results coming in for these drugs, constant monitoring and review for use are essential. "We are waiting and watching," said a senior Health Ministry official. Top on the chart for review is remdesivir, which is presently allowed for restricted use in moderate cases. 10. FAO issues locust alert for India, which is tackling the worst locust attack in 26 years for the last 3 months, should remain on high alert during the next 4 weeks, says the UN's Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO. Meanwhile, the Indian government has stepped up efforts and is using equipment such as drones and Bell helicopters to control the menace. Rajasthan is the most affected state in the country. The other affected states are Madhya Pradesh, Punjab, Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, Haryana, and Bihar. International. Trump repeats vow to defeat radical left in Independence Day speech. Fireworks display held despite Washington mayor's warning. U.S. President Donald Trump on Saturday vowed to defeat the radical left, in an Independence Day speech at the White House that condemned recent protests against monuments to historical figures as attempts to destroy the United States. Mr. Trump claimed without evidence that 99% of COVID-19 in the United States were totally harmless. Mr. Trump, who has faced criticism over his handling of the pandemic, said China must be held accountable for failing to contain the disease. Celebrations and protests. The administration held a fireworks display over the National Mall as night fell after Mr. Trump's speech, despite Washington Mayor Muriel Bowser's warnings that the mass spectator event would defy health officials' guidance during the pandemic. Just steps from where Mr. Trump spoke, peaceful protesters marched down blocked-off streets around the White House, Black Lives Matter Plaza and the Lincoln Memorial. They were confronted by counter-protesters chanting, "USA! USA!" but there were no reports of violence. There have always been those who seek to lie about the past in order to gain power in the present, those that are lying about our history, those who want us to be ashamed of who we are, Mr. Trump said on Saturday. Their goal is demolition. Mr. Trump, in his speech, also said the United States would have a vaccine or therapeutic solution to the virus long before the end of 2020. Such a success could help the U.S. economy and Mr. Trump's chances of re-election. On Thursday, a top U.S. health official said he was optimistic the Trump administration's vaccine acceleration program Operation Warp Speed will generate a safe and effective vaccine for COVID-19 by year-end. Apart from fireworks, spectators in Washington, activists of different stripes also appeared willing to disregard health warnings.